This is W2FJH bringing up the STNY Digital VoiceNet on Brandmeister Talk Group 31367, Wires X Room 83721, and on Zoom. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital VoiceNet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. Again, the call is Whiskey 2 Foxtrot Juliet Hotel, and the name here is Frank. Well, first, you can stand by for any stations with emergency or priority traffic. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, please give your call sign followed by the word break spoken 2 times. Please leave a 45-second pause between transmissions for breaking stations or for those who wish to disconnect this talk group. This is a direct net, and the format will follow announcements, questions, and comments. This net utilizes NetLogger, which can be found at netlogger.org. NetLogger is not required, and we will take additional voice check-ins. For more information about this net or to join the Zoom meeting, please visit stnydmr.net. That's Sierra Tango November Yankee Delta Mike Romeo.net. You can also find us on 73.net. That's Sierra Echo Victor Echo November numeric number 3.net. This net will prioritize short-time mobile in and out or emergency power stations, followed by NetLogger check-ins, followed by voice check-ins. We do have actually quite a few stations checked in through NetLogger already. Well, really, they've keyed up on the talk group. So the net would like to recognize N2 NRA Cliff, N3 OJP Mick, N2 RWH Ed, KC9 HEK Brian, N2 NCB Paul, and KB2 SIN Bill. And hopefully, Bill, by the time we get to you down the list, you'll make it back to the net there. So, all right. When checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's take a standby for any stations that are short time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power, or if any stations I have checked in automatically there or short time, please let me know. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any station that would like to check into the STNY Digital Voice Net this evening. Please call now. All right, yeah, it seems like I basically picked up everybody that's keyed up early. So, all right, we will jump right into announcements. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. Okay, no announcements for the net. Let's see if there's any questions for the evening. Just any questions, please call now. Right, then we will move right in comments. And the net topic this evening, I was going to have talk about the solar eclipse there, but I see it's still we can still catch it in another week here. Maybe finalize some more plans. But the net topic this evening, I was looking into Google Meet versus Zoom for our net meetings. We haven't been holding, still holding the Zoom meetings, but we haven't been having too many technical net topics after the net. So I was looking at Google Meet, or really it's Google Workspace they call it. It is cheaper, about 60% of the monthly subscription for the host. than it is to have a Zoom account to host more than a 40-minute meeting. But I do know that more hands are familiar with Zoom as opposed to Google Meet, so I wanted to get everybody's feelings on if the move would is there any objections to moving to Google Meet really? So all right, top of my list is N2NRA. Cliff, how was your week?
This is N2NRA, Cliff and Waverly. I've been kind of busy. My sister from Colorado visiting. They had 2 feet of snow last week, and I guess she's leaving Syracuse this evening and heading into another storm out that way, I guess. And we had a half inch of rain this week, the other day, and uh, so basically that's about it. And I don't, I haven't, I got to get more information about, I guess, the topic this evening. This is N200A back to Frank W2FJH.
Hey, very good there, Cliff. And yeah, it kind of sounds like your sister has my luck with travel. I sometimes go up to Watertown to visit family, and I swear, we get like this winter, we could have the most mild winter. The moment I make plans to travel up to Watertown, that's when we're going to get a blizzard swinging right through. And yeah, I've gotten tired of driving through snow, especially on 81 with the white knuckles and trying to stay on the highway. So I just don't make it up that way in the wintertime anymore. So all right, next on my list is N3OJP. Nick, how was your week?
Oh, good evening, Frank. Everybody on the net. Got a good net going here. Oh, I was busy. I had a miserable cold all week. I don't know if I got it from that event that I did last Saturday morning or what. But yeah, a couple of days not so good. But it was cold out and rainy. So Tuesday, I got with the Twin Tiers Digital Net. It's on Tuesday night. And they hooked up with the Delaware group, and we spent a lot of time going through WinLink. You're familiar with that? It's basically HF email, but there's also some mapping programs in there. It's quite extensive. What's nice about it is we used instead of going using the airways, we use what's called Telnet, and you go through the internet with the program, so you get full function of the program, uh, without transmitting. And what's nice is there were some technician level classes on there too. Yeah, you could use 10 meters at a certain time of the day, but with Telnet, you just go through the internet. So even the technician license will allow you to use it. It's a pretty robust program. And now we had a meeting Thursday, club meeting. We got a power plant drill coming up, and they want me to use FL Digi up at the local EOC, which is the fire department. But Frank, to answer your question, the one club here, we used to have, uh, we got a website and everything, but we use Discord, and you can set up different areas in Discord if you want to put in comments on various topics. Net controls. We've got a YouTube if somebody wants to post to YouTube. There's a general. There's one for digital. What's nice about Discord, it does have a lot of the same features as Zoom. So you can actually, in fact, we had one yesterday going over the Nano VNA. So it's very similar to Zoom or this Google thing you're talking about. What's nice about Discord, Frank, it's free. There's no charge to use it. And the audio and visual is pretty good. You get a break. Sorry about that. I had to hit the cough button here. So yeah, Discord, you might want to check that out, Frank. That is free, and it does have video privileges. And speaking of FL Digi, I worked a guy in Philadelphia this morning on 40 meters. We were experimenting. I think I was less than a half a watt, and we were at 416, and then we tried Olivia at 8500, and he was giving me plus 15 dB. So we were just messing around with with the QRP. So, and I did get my NFET up today. I got tired of sitting around, so I got a 49-1, and I wanted to get another wire up. The weather was good, so I started, I think, around 100, a little over 140 feet. The NFET balun is up about 9 feet. The other end goes up to about 20, and actually folded it back to around 130 feet. And I'm getting SWRs on 20 and 40 meters, like 1.3, 1.09. So very satisfied with that NFET and that long wire. So and a few other things outside today. It was kind of nice. But yeah, Frank, to answer your question, you might want to look at Discord. There's no charge. Back to you, Frank. W2FJH N30JP.
Hey, very good there, Mick. And yeah, actually, I've also played around quite a bit with Telnet. So that's actually also on my alley there. And yes, I've heard of Discord. Actually, I did not even make the dot because I've heard of Discord because I'm also a gamer, and what gamer hasn't heard of Discord yet for VoIP or even just streaming streaming your game session or something to your friends. But yeah, I didn't make a link to maybe have a Discord server um for the net. Um, the only downside I kind of see that you do have to make a Discord account to join in on Discord. Whereas a lot of links for Zoom, you can just kind of click on a link instead of actually having to fire up the app and everything. But you know what? I'm thinking I will make a poll after this because now there's kind of a third option. So I like to actually see everybody's preference there and make sure I'm not leaving anybody behind. So all right, next on my list is N2RWH. Ed, how was your week?
And to RWH, oh, from Binghamton. We're week was good here, busy as usual, but overall can't complain. Here, I not really familiar with the Google. I see it there, but never have used it. So I guess I wouldn't be a good opinion to ask. I am familiar with Zoom, so that's about what I've always used, I guess. So, um, other than that, I'll turn it back to you, Frank, and I have everybody. Hope everybody enjoys. Looks like we're going to have better weather coming this week. So back to you, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. And I might just hand it back to you real quick to see if you have a Google or a Gmail account. Because with that, I mean, there's no real, I don't believe there's a client even for Google Meet. I think you just click on a link, and if you happen to use the Chrome browser, it just kind of pops up as another window there. But I'll hand back to you there to see if you have a Google or a Gmail account. It's not a requirement for Google Meet. It's just if somebody doesn't have a Google account, it's just the host has to admit somebody who doesn't have an account. I'll get back to you there just to check there, Ed.
And sure, WH. Yes, I have a Google account, so I would say just for myself, I guess getting familiar of how it works, and I think it's probably app based. Back to you.
Okay, very good there. And yeah, if you just want to direct your browser, just go to Meet. That's Mike Echo Echo Tango Meet.google.com, and it will if you signed in already through your Google account, it'll pull it right up where you can say, hey, I want to start a new meeting or I want to make a call to somebody. They also do have, if you have an Android phone, I'm not familiar with iPhone, but I'm pretty sure they have an app for it as well. But the Android phones do have a Google Meet. I kind of call the wife sometimes through, through a video chat with Google Meet. So it's free up to if it's one on one, one person talking to another person, it's absolutely free. There's no timer or anything. If it's a group call with more than one on one, so you have you and two other friends talking, there is a 40-minute timer on a meeting without getting their premium you know subscription. So it was just something I was looking into, trying to reduce some costs, especially lately we haven't been using the Zoom meetings as much as I'd like to see. So that's all. So all right, just by the way, we did pick up another station, so the net would like to recognize NE2W Ed. And next on my list is KC9 HEK. Brian, how's your week?
GK in snowbound Wyoming County, New York, where it was actually 16 degrees this morning. I've actually had a very mixed meeting, or mixed, wow, excuse me, week. I had a small accident and injured my ankle, and I've got here on crutches and a walking boot. On top of that, my wife is out in Seattle, Washington. The good part is I've been able to play on radio as much as I wanted this week without any restrictions. The HF bands have been wide open. Um, I just before the meeting, I worked China for the first time, and on Thursday I worked Laos, and I'm just very surprised by how good the band conditions have been. It's been actually a pretty exciting HF week for me. As to this issue with Google and Zoom, quite frankly, I never considered the financial implications. And Frank, the fact that you've probably been picking up the bill on this for however long. Let me reset. This is KC9HPK. My take is this isn't a club. This is something that you started, that you did, and I think the decision should be yours. If you want input from us, that's fine. But I think ultimately, since you've been generous enough to be footing the bill for Zoom for probably at least 2 years now, if not longer, I think it's strictly your call. That's sort of my take on the situation. We can adapt. There's the technology. Hobby. We should all at least be able to know how to use different browsers and things like that at a minimum. So I think we can get along. I'll turn it back to you, Frank. This is KC9HEK.
Hey, thanks there, Brian. And yeah, kind of at first during the whole pandemic thing, I used Zoom much more. I used to Zoom with my nephew. He was also a computer science major. So we kind of like do some of his homework and try to help him out. And just lately, I kind of haven't a lot of that other stuff has been dropping off. And we've been doing a lot more in person. So yeah, one of the primary reasons I still have my Zoom account is for the net here. So thanks for that. And yeah, and I'm really sorry to hear about your accident there, but I guess you've been able to have a little fun with it and enjoy some radio more. So that's good. So all right, before I get to my next station, let's take a quick standby to see if there's any additional stations that would like to join the STNY Digital Voice Net this evening. Please call now. Hey, good evening. This is N2 BSF, November 2, Bravo Sierra Sierra. Check me in, please. All right, then I would like to recognize N2 of BSS, Jeff. All right, next on my list is N2NCB. Paul, how was your week?
Hello again, Frank and all into NCB here. Well, real great. It's nice hearing all the call signs again. As some of you may know, I have been on the net for a while, but thanks to Frank, you got one of my hotspots up and running, and so we're back on the air. And and the rest of the week was just fine. No real complaints. Glad to see the sun out today. And I find it amazing how many people have gone to the end-fed antennas. I think a lot of hams in this area, if they don't have a beam, they've gone to the end-fed. In fact, mine's an end-fed, only it's vertical instead of horizontal, but same idea. So, and Frank, as far as I'll echo Brian's comments as well. Your call, whatever you feel more comfortable in. I think the group would follow that along and go. So there's my 2 cents worth. And just so you know, Frank, I don't know if it's an issue. I hot wired in that I couldn't get the Wi-Fi to work. It would time out. But that's not an issue because I'm going to hardwire it anyway. But it's working just fine. Both DMR and YSF. So thank you again for getting me up and running. And with that, we'll say 7-3 from STNY Owego today, N2 NCB.
Hey, no problem there, Paul, and I appreciate the Sunny Owego again. I like that. Just by the way, well, you can also let me know if I maybe put in your Wi-Fi name and password wrong, or if there was one letter was capitalized or something like that. Maybe I could fix that. But the good news is, Paul, I did have your other one working just fine and well again. So even the receive frequency is now being displayed. So this piece of good news for you, and maybe we could set up a time to meet up this week. So, all right, next on my list is KB2SIN Bill. Let's see if you're around and give us some comments there.
KB2SIN. Good evening, Frank. Everybody else on the net this evening. Pretty decent day today. It's going to be a really nice week coming up. Right now we're looking at 31 degrees here in Port Crane. And it's going to look pretty good for the week. That's all I care about. No snow and decent weather. As far as Zoom and Google Meet, I've used both of them. I prefer the Zoom. That's what I use with the Coast Guard for trainings. But I 100% agree with Brian. The call is yours. Of course, we can all put our input in, but ultimately the end decision is on you. But nothing else much going on here. I think I'm just going to turn it back to you, Frank, and hope everybody has an awesome week, I should say, and enjoy the nice weather. KB2SIN, back to the net.
All right, thanks, sir, Bill. And yeah, I was looking forward to this week too, because I'm just really tired of the cold, and I'm hoping. It's always seemed like so far this year that every nice day has been a work day that I have to work, and always on the weekends it's been cold or rainy or so. I have to check here after the net here to see what they're predicting for the following weekend coming up. Make sure we don't have beautiful days all through the workday, and then we hit the weekend and it's going to be raining all week or weekend. Yeah. So, all right. Next on my list is NE2W. Ed, how was your week?
Good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net. The week went by fast, probably because we had our Vera meeting on Wednesday night. Wednesday night we had the snow squalls come through in the afternoon, and it made driving rather treacherous. But by the time of the meeting, the sun had come out and it had stopped. But our Copernic Observatory is up on a hill, and in my email, I told club members, hey, don't, if you're uncomfortable driving up, we have Zoom. And so it was almost, I want to say 10 people on Zoom, maybe 20 on at the meeting. And the roads were okay, mainly because the temperature was in the 40s. Uh, so that was fun. Getting ready for the solar eclipse. We're at Copernic Observatory, so that's sort of going to be a central point for the eclipse in this area. I don't know how many people are coming up, but back in the last one, they had hundreds of people go up there. So I'm not sure what's all involved with that, but I plan to maybe go over to our local park here and watch it from there instead of having to fight with all the traffic or things. Uh, Brian, I hope you get well soon, and I agree with Brian. It's your call, Frank. And I will say this, Meet, Discord, Zoom, they all have apps on Android and on the iPhone. I have Meet on my iPhone. My sister calls me on it. And let me catch a break here. And my sister and another ham called me on it once. I don't know how he got my thing, but I've only used it with two people. I'm not sure how it works with multiple users, but that brings up a point I wanted to make with ham radio. Uh, ham radio, to me, what the really strong part about it is you don't have to know how to do everything. You're always learning. There's other people that have done it that are willing to teach you and show you how to do it. Like Nick was talking about the Tuesday night net. I don't get into WinLink and FL Digi and all that, but I do often listen in. If I had time for another project, I probably would. But again, I think that the people attracted to ham radio, it's not that you know how to do everything. It's to learn and it's to do new and different things. I know Frank here. I didn't know a thing about DMR or digital. I didn't even have a Raspberry Pi till Frank came along, and I've learned a lot from Frank, and I appreciate that. And what else? This week, I've been working on the Verifax. It's our monthly newsletter. We used to mail it just 10 years ago. We used to print it out and drop it in the mail. But we've got so much going on in April with the solar eclipse, the bridge run, there's a 5K race at Copernic. Uh, I there's a couple more. I forget the solar thing. I forget what else. Let me catch one more break. But April's a busy month, and I put out in the newsletter, and I finally made it a web page so I could add pictures and videos and stuff. And a couple members saw it, and they sent me Verifax that they had. Our former president, Alan KC2KLC, he runs the Marconi Tower special event station that we run in May. And he's a former president of Vera, so he sent me a bunch of Verifax. So I had, probably 8 years worth of Verifax that I put out there. And interesting, they're from the 2000s, 2006, 7, and 8, when Paul, N2NCB, and Bill, KB2SIN, were on the net tonight. I was looking at them, and those guys did a great job of running Vera back in those days. Need to read through it and relive those experiences. Well, I've talked long enough. Hope everyone has a good week. And back to you, Frank, the STNY2W at in Binghamton.
Hey, thanks there, Ed, and yes, also thanks to Ed for you putting together the Verifax. You definitely do have, a lot. You bring a lot of different events and things that are going on, and you kind of, bring them in and summarize them and kind of, give a good documentation on what it was. And actually, speaking of documentation, there was a few I think there's one or two hands that I actually sent your other document on getting started with DroidStar, because your documentation actually outlines, how to go to radioid.net and how to sign up and register for that, and then go to the Brandmeister and register with Brandmeister. You always give a very well documented document, for lack of a better word. So, all right. Next on my list is N2BSS. Jeff, how was your week?
Well, good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net tonight. This is N2BSS, Jeff in State College, Pennsylvania, Center County. Anyway, we had a fairly decent week, if you will. Cold, and definitely not enjoying the cold, but when the sun was out, at least I was able to take advantage of that and go outside. Even though it was cold, the March sun is kind of strong, so it didn't feel as bad. But boy, when the wind blew. I was out there in my ski cap and my winter coat and all that other stuff. Something I'd been kind of working on off and on is I picked up an RTL SDR V4 USB dongle, and initially had a heck of a time getting it going because it's not compatible with the V3 and earlier drivers. And it turned out the software I have in my Mac is much too old to support it. I can't remember any of the newer code, which of course supports the V4, and the code I can run, which is cubic SDR. They don't. They've been pretty mum on supporting the V4 driver. Let me grab a reset here. Anyway, so I started trying to set it up on my Raspberry Pi as an RTL server, RTL SDR server. So I got all the good software on that, and I got downloaded SDR and ran it in server mode. But guess what? Cubic SDR doesn't like to connect to SDRPP's RTL SDR server. So moved over to my Windows laptop. My Windows laptop up and died. It has to go back to the factory. That's how bad it up and died. So finally this morning I got it up and running on my Linux laptop, which is running an older version of Ubuntu. But I plugged the dongle into my HF antenna, and I was actually able to start receiving. I didn't play around with it too much after that point because I was too busy declaring victory. But now that I can use RTL SDR V4 on that laptop, I will probably connect it again to my HF antenna and start doing a little bit of SWLing out and about, and see if I can direct pipe that to WSJT, just so I can do receive only FT8. Be kind of neat when I'm traveling and don't have a transmitter with me. I could at least listen in. That'll be fun. So that's the ham radio extent of it from this QTH. And of course, I will be up in Southern Tier, up in Penyan area for the eclipse in April. So hopefully, I'll remember to bring my hotspot with me so I can communicate with you guys when I'm there. Back to you, Frank. N2 BSS.
Hey, very good there, Jeff. And yeah, I actually did something similar with the. I had an RTL SDR as well. I'm not sure of the version number, but I actually hooked it up to a Raspberry Pi, and I maybe it was the SDR plus plus that I was using, and my only problem was that the SDR plus plus would just kind of like crash all of a sudden and drop out in the middle of it. And yeah, I haven't. I did see that apparently when you had set up with the Raspberry Pi, you can also, I think you can add your system actually to the Kiwi SDR. So also just people on the internet can listen in and kind of scroll around and see what's going on there. So I do find that that's pretty interesting. You kind of click somewhere and I'm not on HF myself, but I can listen in and see what I can find. I kind of hear a lot of static. I hear a lot of static, but I can at least listen in. Mostly probably because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So HF. But, all right, I have reached the end of my list. So this is W2FJ8 with the STNY Digital Voice Net. Let's see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now.
Kilo Charlie 2, Kilo Oscar Oscar.
All right, and then I would like to recognize K22 with KOO David. All right, so David, I believe you're new. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's just how I signed in before here, but the call sign just doesn't ring a bell. But the net topic we were talking this evening was Google Meet versus Zoom for our net meetings here. Um, so I will hand it right over to you. So take it away there, David.
W2FJHKC2KOO. Good evening, everyone. On that name, here's Dave. We're David. We're up in Buffalo, New York. Just happened to stumble upon the net. I didn't even realize I had the radio on this talk group and walked by and heard the net going. So I just wanted to stop by and say hello and add one to the count and Google Meet versus Zoom. I am nothing nothing against Zoom, but I do personally I like the Google Meet interface a little bit more. But I think either way they'll probably get a mission accomplished for the net there. You'll get similar results either way. But other than that, I'm just going to pass it back to Net and keep listening here. So first time here, and appreciate you letting me stop by and check in. Just wish everyone a great rest of the evening and a great week ahead. Back to Net Control from KC2KOO.
Hey, no problem at all there, David, and welcome. So, in case you didn't hear the first part of this net, we do have a website for this net. Has a lot of information there. We also have this bridged over to a Wires X room. But the website you can visit is STNY for Southern Tier New York, DMR.net. So Sierra Tango, yeah, Sierra Tango November Yankee Delta Mike Romeo .net. So and also we do have it says on there about 7.3. We post all of our net topics and everything on 7387 spelled out as in SEVEN numeric number 3.net. So welcome and hope to hear from you again. All right, this is W2FJH with the FTMI Digital Voice Net. Let's see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now.
That's with a recheck.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that since I wasn't hearing anything. I was going to ask if there's any additional comments for anybody who has checked in. So fire away there, Jeff.
Well, first, welcome to KC2KOO. And yeah, I was so busy with my eye on the timeout timer there when I got long-winded about RTL SDR version 4, I forgot to mention about the net topic. My apologies. Yeah, I have no preference one way or the other. So as the others have said, your call. My only request is no Discord. Do not consider Discord. I have a buddy of mine moved one of our standing meetings to that, and I've been having nothing but trouble trying to connect to that, and I don't know why. Discord doesn't like me for some reason, so therefore the feeling's mutual. I don't like Discord. Back to you, Frank, and to BSS.
Okay, very good there, Jeff. And yeah, sorry about that. I didn't. I got kind of writing down some scribbles there about RTLSDR. And I completely forgot that you didn't mention it either. So, all right, W2FGH with the STNY Digital Voice Net. Let's go for any additional stations or any additional comments, questions, or concerns from any stations that have checked in. Please call now.
Maybe two SIN additional.
AB2 SIN. Fire away with your question there, Bill.
If I guess I give you a heads up there, I just went into the web page and approved request for membership from Kilo Delta 2 Tango Foxtrot November Jeff Nye.
All right. No, yeah, no problem there. Yeah, the only thing I usually try to do, we really haven't had any concerns over it. But it's with 7.3. I try to confirm because we see that the email address of what you signed up with. We kind of confirm with QRZ that I look up the call sign, find what the email address is on QRZ because they have confirmed that they actually they got an email and they gave us back the confirmation link. So I just kind of match up with QRZ that it matches the email from what the account was, just to make that it is the real ham that signed up. But we really haven't had any security concerns with it. It's usually people that hear about us on the net and then they find it and they sign up and 99% of the time the emails match up anyway. So, but thanks for checking in on that. Yeah, sometimes I do it on my phone. And if you're on mobile, you have to swipe over to the left. I guess you go from right to left to actually see like the other section there. If you're on a PC, it kind of shows up on the right hand side. So I sometimes miss. I try to be quick about adding people. So I appreciate you also checking that as well. All right. Any other comments, questions, or concerns, or late check-ins? Please call now. All right. Hear nothing then we will wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Cliff, Mick, Ed, Brian, Paul, Bill, Ed 2, well, Ed F and Ed K, Jeff, and David for stopping by this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.